Good evening, SynergyPWR viewers across the world. Welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing, and welcome to this round number 4. It's the Chinese Grand Prix. Big thank you to every single one of you tuning in here tonight for this Grand Prix. We've got 16 drivers out on the field in Q3 at the moment. 6.5 minutes to go. Fastest runner at the moment, suffering in the Ferrari. 1 minute 30.5, followed by Russell here, 1 minute 30.6 on his return after his race ban. PWR Derby currently on a lap at the moment in P10. Just about to come down the long straight. I think it'd be a good time to introduce the co-commentator tonight. South African driver himself, the madman, the man of the moment, the mythical Hoonigan 403.
Hello everybody. I'm on time for once.
Oh, I wasn't though, sorry about that. Here he comes anyway, PWR Derby as he comes around the final corner now.
It's going to be a good lap.
Might be a good lap. Either way, going to come across the line now. Number 57, McLaren goes on pole by 0.3 of a second. 1 minute 30.205. Good lap indeed from the Derby.
Really good lap. And Slick will be the last one to slide.
He will be as well. The Haas driver not getting the best exit after the final corner as well.
He's on his lap now.
I should go through a lap actually with Slick Willie,
right,
because it's an interesting circuit.
It is, yes. Now going through long turn 1 here. Really, you don't need the brakes. Just downshift, and that will slow the car down. Now down into 3. This is turn 3 now, and turn 4. You really want to be careful on your traction there, because it can really hamper the car now through turn 5 and down through sector 1 into turn 6. Really, it's a downhill braking, so it's really easy to lock your fronts. Now coming up to turn 7, this fast left-hander. You don't actually have to lift in these 2020 cars. Now coming through turn 8 down to 4th gear now. Turn 10 now into 2nd. Really want to upshift early, because you can get really early on the power there. Now going through end of sector 2. Now coming into, I believe, 11 and 12 now. Another long banked corner. Really need to be careful with the traction, because if you put it down too early, put the power down too early, you can spin the car. Now onto the long back straight now, DRS open. Just reaching speeds of around 335 kph. Now down into turn 14. Now a little kink here at 15. Now final turn at 16. Really want to be careful there, because you can lose the car if you take too much inside curve. On a 32.2. Decent lap.
Certainly indeed a very decent lap from the American driver at the Haas team in Queen's English. 208 miles an hour down that main straight. One of the longest straights on the calendar, obviously matching with the likes of Vietnam, where we raced last week, and Azerbaijan, where we're going to be racing, I believe, next week, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, it might be Netherlands, actually, for that.
Oh, no, wait, yes, it's Netherlands.
Oh, you know what, it could be anything. I
Spain.
don't know.
I've no idea. They've changed the track so much.
Yeah, I'm trying to put... I mean, to be fair, I was the one who organised the calendar graphics, so I should really know this. Netherlands, Spain, Monaco, Azerbaijan are miles away. Either way, we are at the Netherlands next week, with very lack of straights there, of course, but we do have the long straight here at China, and it's a horrible track, this, for even talking about tyre degradation, sees that their left front blow up. I mean, it's just a horrible track in general for tyre degradation, and we're seeing a lot of people deciding to start on that medium tyre in Q2, some electing to go into the soft. That one man, Richie Evans, who is really out of position in 10th place, I think he'll be the first person to admit he doesn't know how he's there. Either way, the party going into major celebration when he did, but he's going to be starting on that soft tyre tonight. That is going to be one hell of a stint to start off with. What do you reckon?
Yes.
Two laps maximum?
No, you could probably get them to about lap, I'm going to speculate about lap 7 or 8, and then bolt on a set of hards to the end of the race for a one-stop. But yeah, it's a really hard track on tyres, is this. That's why Pirelli bring, I believe, the 3 hardest compounds in their range. I believe the C1, C2 and C3.
Naturally.
And then obviously once we get to tracks like Monaco and Canada, you'll then see the C5s, the C4s, and the C3s.
Here's P2R Hamster.
Naturally,
Here's P
naturally the degradation is less on those sorts of tracks.
P2R Hamster in the McLaren though. He's on that soft tyre obviously in this Q3 session. Probably only going to get the best of the tyres in about 1, 2, maybe 3 laps maximum. They'll probably last about 6 or 7 laps. Either way, 7th place at the moment for the brother to PWR Derby. I'm not saying brother in the sense
Tenths
of
up in the first sector there, now coming through turn 6.
looking strong at the moment in that first sector, although didn't have the strongest hairpin. Keeping your foot planted if you can through that left hand and then onto the right. Trying to hit the apex, which I think he's just managed to do so to really open up the corner. This is where a lot of people make or break their laps. We saw, I think it was KGS Leftover on his return to SynergyPWR make a spin at that particular corner, which cost him a run in Q3 and allowed Richie Evans to get in the Haas. And as he comes around that right-hander now, careful not to get up on that curb as well, I think.
Yeah, because it can pull you wide.
It will pull you wide if you get too close to it. Heads through down on the straight now, though. And the DRS will be open. Not going to be the only time we'll be seeing that today, that's for sure. This long, straight, really, really positive overtaking manoeuvres around there. People slowly but surely letting people through. I think we've got a little bit of a mix-up happening in that second sector as the Ferrari of Sufjan getting into a little bit of a mishap. But here comes P2R Hamster. Clip that curb nicely. And remember, it's his back at simulation damage here tonight as Hamster gains that one position back up to 7th with a 31-0. He's actually not looking too bad, but you can see
Rushable the next across the line
very easily to get into the 1 minute 30s as Russell
was
fastest of anyone actually. Sorry, Russell on his return after his race ban, and the American runner in the Red Bull 1 minute 30.1.
Next, I believe, is Wipeout to cross the line.
Wipeout actually in the Williams.
Oh, wait, he's
as he's going to be coming in the pits, I believe. So I believe that next person actually will be Sufjan. He's just approaching the hairpin now. And the Renault will be wanting to... the Renault. Wow, that's a very, very odd-looking Renault. The Ferrari will be on his way to pushing his way to the final corner here. And he's going to push hard now. He hasn't got any time. He's run out of fuel. He's run out of fuel as he comes across the line. And he can only get P3. And that's really going to help Derby. He's just started his lap now. Sufjan, I don't know what's happened to him through that final corner.
Lost it as well by the looks of things.
So it doesn't look like to me we're going to be seeing that much improvement here. There's one person though, PWR Derby is on his way here to try and push as hard as he can.
Just over 400 up, going into now, coming into turn 7.
Will he be the only person to get into the 29s?
Oh, he keeps flat, does Derby.
Brave going through that corner. He's going to head it hard now into this corner. Hits the apex nicely. Didn't open up the corner very wide there, though. He's going to struggle through this corner, lose a bit of speed, and it's going to cost him all the way down this mini straight. Heading into the left and right hand. He's got to be careful. Fastest in the second sector. And he's got to be trying to push hard here, as I believe the Red Bull there parking it off the track. I think he may have crashed. Heading through on that right-hander now, and he's going to have to push hard. He says a 10th up. Is that 10th up just in the second sector? Going to have to see. Either way, it was 4 tenths up in that first sector, and he really, really could be pushing it to get into the 29s, and he'd be the only driver to be able to get into the 29s unless DeLorean can pull something out of the bag. He's just about to come through into the pits now, so he's actually out of qualifying now as well. One person left, it's PWR Derby. He's now heading through the final selection of corners. Got to make sure he get this corner right as well. He can begin buckets of time doing so. Here comes across the line. He's going to be heading now across the line now. And it proves 29.9 for the McLaren and gets himself on pole position. And the only driver to get into the 29s. Cracking drive from Derby.
What a fantastic lap from Derby.
A mini fan club happening behind me as well as PWR Jollybird getting excited. A really, really big supporter of PWR Derby as well. Very much the underdog, if you will, of SynergyPWR. Didn't have the best run in Season 3, but my God, what a Season 4 he's having.
He's having a fantastic Season 4.
Oh, fantastic run. And we'll go through to the final results of this qualifying session, and it is PWR Derby leading this way. 1 minute 29.9, the only 29 runner in Q3 and in Division 2. So congratulations to him and McLaren. Russell Eel in second, and Sufjan will take third, with Sonic in fourth, Wipeout in fifth. Hamster will be a little bit disappointed with sixth, but he did manage to get into the 1 minute 30s in the end. And just behind him, DeLorean a little bit out of position as well by 0.07 of a second. You got Larvin in eighth, Slipwell in ninth, and curiously, Richie Evans doing his lap on the medium tyres. He starts in 10th.
headphone users. I apologize for that loud noise.
Start time, curiously now, will be 20:36. 5-minute wait. It looks to me as if there's actually quite a significantly less number of drivers on that right-hand side, or am I mistaken?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it does look a bit
Yeah, we just got reports
small.
actually coming in that we've unfortunately lost a load of drivers. They've all been dashboarded. I think we've actually lost 5 drivers due to it dashboard. They will be able to get into this same lobby and continue. I don't think we're going to need to commit to a restart, and I think the admins are now working on it to try and get them back in, but they will be able to get back into the session and hop into their cars, hopefully, fingers crossed, during the formation lap. But we'll take another look, though, at this race director situation, though. Obviously, a load of drivers being dashboarded means that they're currently ghosted at the moment, but as it stands, Peter Darby will be starting on pole position. And, a good lap from him. And he's starting on that medium tyre as well. And he's got one hell of a drive as a result of that compared to Russell Eel, who will be starting on that soft on the second part of the front row. Yeah, really good effort, though, from the American driver. And then we head on to the second row of the grid. It's Sophian and Sonic. You've got Wipeout and Hamster on that third row. On the fourth row, it's DeLorean and Larvin. And then you've got the fifth row surrounded by Slick Willie and Richie Evans. On the sixth row, you've got Paul Davey and KGS left over. On the seventh row, PWR Nub and C. Davis, 15th and 16th, going to PWR Clapp, who again had an appalling qualifying, crashing out. He starts right at the back alongside CT5 Plaz on the 8th row of the grid.
Interestingly, 3 drivers choosing to use the hard tyres at the start of this race, as being Clapp, Davies, and Paul Davey.
Started to see some people reconnecting to the session. You won't see their names appear on the right-hand side, but fingers crossed they should be able to get their car and get in their car during the formation lap. But certainly an interesting scenario, though. Looking at the tyre strategy again, you can certainly see the situation really, really developing in the field at the moment. You can take a look, like I said, at the back. As you said, the hard tyre runners, Hoonigan. You've got the likes of Paul Davies starting on the hard, C. Davis and Peter Clapp also deciding to start on the hard. Everyone who was in the top 10 who qualified in Q3 on the soft tyre will be forced to start on the soft. But anyone else who has the option to start on any tyre has definitely not started on that soft.
No, because they've either used their softs in quali to try and get through to Q2 or Q3, or the soft's not going to last long enough for what they want. So Nub, being on that medium, he may go to lap 13 or 14 in this race and then bolt on a hard towards the end of the race. So look for the drivers who were on the mediums to be relatively quicker than the drivers who started on the softs towards the end of the race, because their tyres will be around 5 to 6 laps newer than those who started on the soft.
45 seconds to go before the drivers are allowed to start readying up on the grid. Early suggestions would suggest it's probably going to be a medium to hard tyre strategy for the best one. But, I mean, theoretically speaking, you're going to be looking to continue that sort of tradition, if you will.
Yeah. I think looking forward to, obviously, the Division 1 race tomorrow. I think most people are going to sort of look at the medium to hard strategy for a quick one-stop. But you could, in theory, if you had the pace, you could do a two-stop. Yes, it might add some time, but if you've got the pace to make up the time you lose, it could really help you out. But yeah, one stop is the preferred strategy.
Certainly is the sort of preferred strategy, if you will, as the drivers now eligible to ready up on this grid as and when they want as of 20 seconds ago, and the drivers now choosing to do so. SynergyPWR wow, SynergyPWR will be back very shortly. Good evening, Synergy PWR viewers across the world. Welcome to Synergy PWR People's World Racing, and we are here for round number 4 at the Chinese Grand Prix. What's going on board there with PWR Derby's Ghost at the moment? Looks like he's a little bit away at the moment. We've had a bit of an issue where people have been dashboarded. So fingers crossed they can get back into the session ASAP. Predicted pit stop strategy around here at China tonight. Medium to hard, certainly the way to go, though the medium is a certain strategy that some may choose to go for. And Hoonigan, you were talking about the strategy earlier.
Yeah, strategy is really, really key for this race. If you start on the soft, you saw that you could do soft, medium, two-stop, or you could do the soft to hard as a one-stop. But if you're starting on that medium, which in theory is the preferred start tyre, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Interesting stuff indeed, though. We're looking through now, heading into the race. You've got PWR Derby, like I said, starting on pole position tonight. Fingers crossed he will be able to connect in, though, and get on with his race. Soft tyre strategy for Rustable Eel for him. He starts in second with Suffian in third. PWR Sonic in fourth on the medium tyre with Wipeout in fifth on the soft. Hamster is sixth. DeLorean seventh on the medium tyres. And you've got soft tyres for Larvin, Willie and Evans all on the soft tyre. Then you have the hard tyre of Paul Davey with the KGS left over on his return to CGPWR. Could not get a solid lapping in Q2. He starts in P12 with Nub in 13th, C. Davis in 14th, Clapp in 15th and Plaz in 16th. You can see there 5 to 6 laps only before you have to move on to a medium tyre or a hard tyre. And that's something that Rustable Eel will have to deal with, as it looks like Peter Williams has actually just been disqualified from the formation lap. So fingers crossed, no dirty tyres for him, as it looks like Nub and Clapp also retiring as well. Going to be an interesting race, though, for sure. Hoonigan, looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this one. It's going to be interesting.
Either way, we're going to see what happens. The drivers are now lining up on the grid. Introducing Synergy PWR's most expensive car park.
It is, in fact, yes.
We may be advising a restart here. I think there's too many people have bugged out, and it has actually bugged out the grid. And the restart has actually now been fully confirmed by the race admin. No surprise there, though. Look at that. We are frozen on the grid. The camera just wobbling away. I'm starting to feel quite queasy, actually, with this wobble camera. 2 minutes 21, fastest lap from Pedro. Oh, no, here we are, Derby. 2:18 from Pedro Derby. Fastest lap there from the McLaren. As Pedro Hamster even faster with a 12 minutes 45.420. And the whole... and it's gone.
It has, unfortunately.
The whole
my
thing.
game's dashboarded
The
itself.
whole, yeah, as is mine. We'll be back very shortly for the next part of Synergy PWR People's World Racing. Good evening, SynergyPWR viewers across the world. Welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing, and welcome to this round number 4 race at the Chinese Grand Prix. Back here after the quick restart. We needed to get this lobby back up and running after everyone was stuck on the grid. But we are back here for this race, and the medium tyre runner of Peterborough Derby leading the way. There's his pit stop strategy. Anywhere between 13 and 17, and it'll be on that hard tyre. Certainly the better strategy to be on, Hoonigan.
It is, yes, and hello everybody. Yes, the medium tyre, the preferred strategy tonight.
Alternatively, we've got the likes of Rustable Eel in that Red Bull. He starts on the red band soft tyre tonight. Certainly going to be for a very interesting one on strategy call. It will be probably, let's be honest, a 2-stop for him for it to make this work. If he does go on the 1-stop, he will use that hard tyre, but not the best race tyre.
Yeah, not ideally the best race tyre, but if you're gonna need to use it at some point if you want to do a 1-stop. So if you've got a setup that can switch the tyres on really well, then you're in the pound seats. But if it takes a lap or two to get the tyres switched on, you could lose out.
Sofian is on the yellow walled medium tyre. He said soft, wow. What was the old soft tyre?
It's been a long day, isn't it?
It's been a long day. It was the old soft tyre, it's now the medium. And the yellow band wall will be expected to go probably around anywhere between 11 and 15 laps, 17 laps maximum, and then they will be going on to that hard. But if you do decide to go on that soft hard tyre early, you're going to have to compete with a lot of medium tyre runners, and that medium tyre will be a lot quicker. Actually, a very quick look at the tyre strategy. You see there, medium tyre for the front runner, soft for Rustable Eel, soft for Wipeout, soft for Larvin and Slick Willy. Hard tyres for those outside of the top 10. That's Paul Davey, Nub Davis, and that's it actually on the hard tyre. Medium tyres though for Plaz. Soft tyre for Clap as well. Change of strategy from the restart. Going to make for a very interesting race and a bit of a mixed bag in strategy. The drivers are now lining up on the grid. And with the drivers lined up, we are going to be counting down the lights. It's 1. It's 2, it's 3, it's 4, and it's 5 lights. It's 5 lights, and they are a go. The drivers here, they are Rustable Eel naturally on that hard, on the softer tyre. He's going to get the better start, and it looks like he's going to get an early mix here, potentially a Derby, but he's going to be defending around the outside of turn 1, and the McLaren doing his hardest, but he will get squeezed maybe by the Red Bull. Going to be up on the inside though in the next corner. Rich Evans already out, and I think there's a full course yellow already, and all the Ferraris are both getting into the mix as well, I believe, and I don't know, I think there's a full course yellow at the moment, and I think we are under a virtual safety car. And if the virtual safety car does last, of course, the drivers will end up not being able to pit. The pits are closed during the VSC.
Just looking at what happened there. It doesn't look like anybody's got any damage.
Not sure what's happened there. Either way, PWR Derby on that medium tyre did manage in the end to defend well off the soft tyre run of Rustable Eel. He would have had the better start.
Yeah, the soft tyre naturally will give you a really good start. So yeah, he's managed to keep it up well with his second phase of the start there. You
can see the two strategies there side by side. It will be the 2-stop for Rustable Eel as a faster strategy as he loses the rear, and Rustable Eel spun the car on the restart, and that's invited Wipeout and Sonic straight into the mix, and there is Rustable Eel in the back. He's lost it on the restart.
Yeah, he's got it in front of him. Nearly took Nub out.
Not sure what he was doing there. Needed to be careful. Nearly taking the Ferraris out and having to go off the track, and he's right all the way at the back in P15.
Sufyan does have wing damage, unfortunately. So, Nub has wing damage. Looked like Nub and Richie Evans may have collided. I'm not entirely sure. That may be what happened, but we shall see.
It is Derby in the lead of this race at the moment. I think there's obviously, there goes the timing glitch.
Oh, and it's Rustable's put it in the wall in the pits. Came into the pits too hard.
Unlucky stuff. Richie Evans said he's actually going to be uploading a clip. So it looks like some serious stuff has happened there. Rusty Belial on the second lap, just getting his way, and actually has brought out another.
It's like a full safety car.
Are we back
maybe
under a full safety car? We'll have to see. No, the VSC is out again, as I think the timing screens have just reset themselves again. But there we are with PWR Derby on board now,
yeah, race
stretching
control,
out his stint with 1 second.
VSC.
1 second stretching between him and PWR Sonic. So far, so good for Derby, his main challenger, out of the race on lap number, well, for him, lap number 1, he binned it in the pit wall.
It just came into the pits a bit too hard there and a bit too fast, and it's ended his race, unfortunately, with simulation damage as we go green again.
KGS left over, getting into a little bit of a pickle there. Again, the predicted pit stop strategy, and he's on the medium tyre, so he could do the 1 stop. Soft tyre runners around him will need to do the 2, and Wipeout getting some horrible, dirty air. You can see it, and KGS left over having to deal with it as well. Could potentially look for an overtake, but he is not pushing it into overtake, as I think Wipeout might be looking into trying to defend this one here. Here comes KGS leftover, slightly later braking from the Alfa Romeo, but the Alfa Romeo can't really pull the gap here. And Hamster back up to P9 after an appalling start. He's down 3, but look up Clap and C. Davies up 7, and KGS leftover, because of all of those incidents around him, up 8.
Yeah, KGS leftovers had a fantastic start here as we watch the Renault of C. Davies and PWR Clap having a battle. As Clap going around the outside of turn 1. Oh, and he's giving wing damage there to C. Davies.
Not sure what's happening between the two runners here. They're actually racing quite hard at the moment here. Here's PWR Clap.
C. Davies does have end plate damage.
PWR Clap again. I did miss that one, unfortunately. It looks to me as if PWR Clap really racing hard here. Remember, PWR Clap actually was really a bit of a dark horse in this championship. Not had the most consistent. And back on board with Larvin now as we look behind him, and Clap really pushing hard here. And already look how close he's getting already to that racing point.
Yeah, those soft tyres, he really wants to make the most of those soft tyres. Both of them are on the soft. Clap setup may be working a bit better to turn those tyres on and switch them on into their operating window. But Derby now with a 2.5 second gap out in front.
It's been a good race so far from PWR Derby and a good season so far. A few hiccups here and there, but currently well deserved of his place in the championship at the moment.
Watching Wipeout though, potentially just thinking better of it because he was a bit far back, but DRS is now enabled as Sufjan gets up on Paul Davey.
PWR Derby currently leading the championship at the moment. Currently showing his worth, 2.5 seconds up on Sonic at the moment. As Clap's still trying to close down that gap on Larvin, but you can see a DRS trend starting to form a little bit, all the way far back as P3 and P2 at the moment. As PWR Sonic still trying to defend here off the soft run of Wipeout, who's getting really close.
These top 5 seem to be getting really close. Derby does disappear into the distance. These top 5 getting into a bit of a battle here. Racing is actually really close as Nub. I feel so sorry for Nub because he's not had the greatest start to the season, but he really just needs to just keep his head up and carry on.
Carrying on back on this battle for P2 at the moment. Sonic seriously holding his own at the moment. Wipeout really struggling for any grip at the moment. Doesn't seem to me if he's got a real grasp on the handling model of the car at the moment, if anything. And he's putting himself into a bit of a danger zone here. Starting to lose that almost over a second rather, on Sonic. Meanwhile, KGS leftover still sort of closing that gap. But DeLorean also wants to get in this mix
DeLorean
as well.
is closer. Larvin actually is the closest to any of these drivers now. But you can see DeLorean using his overtake and has a lot more energy than KGS leftover.
And DeLorean looking like it's going to go for the overtake. Okay, KGS leftover, late braking from the American on the Alfa Romeo, but he's not going to make that one work, is he? And he has done. He's kept it within the boundaries of the track as well. Has the Alfa Romeo, and the American driver on his return. A very welcome start here. Is still racing with PWR DeLorean here, looking like it's going to go around the outside, and it looks to me as if that position is going to be conceded, and he's probably going to be able to defend here off of the racing point behind him of Larvin, who himself is going to get into a little bit of a scrappy with PWR Clap, who's going to try a switch back at turn 2 and go around the outside maybe of turn 3 and try and hold on if he can. No, it's not going to work, losing that rear just a bit. and he's really trying to push hard as he can, is that AlphaTauri.
Yeah, he's really pushing hard. And while we were watching that, Hamster got past C. Davies there on the back straight with the use of DRS.
Yeah, excellent stuff at the moment here.
We've got two battles happening here. We've got P2 right down to P7. Then you've got a bit of a gap there to PWR Hamster, and then P9 right the way through to P11 are in a bit of a battle there as well.
So you're saying Hamster's actually in his own little no man's land. He is still within that sort of DRS territory, unfortunately, to be able to really consider that, I think. So I'd say you do have the two battles, but I think Hamster still hasn't got that P8 secure at the moment, though he's just left the DRS now, actually, of C. Davis. Here comes TOTD Larvin, making a very good move here. Potential leftover. He's not made it work, and he's actually ran out of ERS, actually, as leftover, as his car is now starting to harvest what they can, and it's an easy overtake for the Racing Point. He goes a late braking move, trying to hold on if he can, and leftover. I have no idea how he's managed to make that work.
Lost the rear. Almost lost the rear there. Really
that was
good
not
there.
That was not a defensive move from leftover. That was a re-overtake. That was excellent.
That was fantastic racing, and he's really managed to gain a gap there on Larvin. Larvin may have had a bit of a scruffy final corner there. Clap though up on Larvin now, down the inside at turn 1. Suffian now up on Slick Willy as well.
Suffian all the way at the back as well, and Slick Willy getting into a bit of an overtaking manoeuvre here. Suffian really well down the order.
There's some very interesting battles happening here. The soft tyre lasting quite a long while, but seeing as we have had this restart, they'll have all started on completely brand new fresh tyres. So that'll extend the life of the softs to, I'd think, around lap 9 or 10. It's only 1 lap difference, but it does help with the strategy, as we now watch PWR DeLorean trying to go up on Wipeout now.
Yeah, it's good stuff here racing here, as the Mercedes looking to try and close down the gap.
We've had one car go wide.
Look at trying to get close
Clap
here.
Going on left over.
And it got Claft on left over as well. We've got 2 potential overtakes here as DeLorean does manage to get it's a little bit of overtake here. Oh my goodness me! And Clap, what is he doing? Going into the hairpin.
Way too late.
Way too late.
From the Racing Point of Todd Larvin.
Not sure what he was doing there. Looks to me as it was very lackadaisical, straight into the pits. And I think it's probably to have a word with his team manager to see what the hell he was doing. I think it was incredibly scary for a lot of drivers on there.
Yeah, that wasn't the best move there from PWR Clap, but now coming in for a set of medium tyres, so Clap on a 2-stop by the looks of things.
Oh, scary stuff there, I think, for a lot of drivers in that big overtaking field, and there's still some overtaking up here. Comes leftover around the outside, and Larvin's on the inside, and Larvin does have wing damage, and it's cost him big time. He's going to go around the outside of this hairpin. Not going to work. Hamster's going to get the switchback. Could be 2 positions lost in a couple of corners here for the Racing Point. Here comes Hamster around the outside. Surely he's not going to hold this one, and he has done it very well. Good evening to Ben Bryant popping into the chat as well. Hope you're well today, sir. As here comes Peter Hamster trying to close down now. Cage just left over for P4. Is back in action is the Hamster.
You're watching though Suffian on Todd Larvin as well. Suffian now 3/10 behind Todd Larvin.
Been a good effort here from Suffian to try and gain those positions back. He's down 4 at the moment. Is the Ferrari on that medium tyre.
Down the inside, and he's going to get the move done.
You can see we'll touch the grass a little bit as well. Got to be careful there, but it looks to be as if TOTD Larvin isn't going to be able to defend off this as well. He does have the DRS available off the back of Hamster before he lost the position from Suffian. He's going to try and make it overtake, maybe, but he decides against it in the end because I think that wing damage, he knows it's costing him time. Surely that Racing Point's coming in.
Yeah, that Racing Point does need to come in now. Those tyres will be screaming. He needs to come off those tyres, and he does. He puts.
A surprise there indeed, and then go Hamster into P5 as a result, actually making an overtake. Okay, just left over already, making a move. That's a bold call from the McLaren, trying to make an early move already, and I think that might have caught leftover napping a little bit.
Yeah, leftover may have been just dazed there for a second, but yeah, great move there from Hamster, now into 4th place. as we watch PWR DeLorean and PWR Sonic getting really, really close.
Sufjan also
Top six
getting in this
drivers
mix
now.
as well with KGS left over, and there's some big battles happening in and around the field. It's hard to keep it up at the moment with all the battles happening on
Yeah,
the field at the moment. We're
top-
back up to the DeLorean incident here, and you can see he's got a lot more grip than Sonic. And I'm not actually as to sure why, because they're both still on the same tie. And to me, it could be an issue with just generic time management. Tyre management in the end, sorry.
Yeah, it does. No two setups are the same, and no two driving styles are the same. So yeah, while one driver might have a setup that is a little bit worse, he may be really good at saving tyres as Sufjan gets up on KGS leftover.
Sonic also trying to get into this mix here as well. Looking hard here as DeLorean might want to try late breaker. He goes late braking, but he's not looking for the overtake. He's getting seriously up close.
Now
And right up the gearbox here as C. Davis does manage to get past leftover as well, but they're still battling as they go into the final corner. He's still battling for P2 though. DeLorean even closer potentially here, as here comes DeLorean to try and make a move potentially into turn one, but it doesn't look like he's going to be going for it. And the Mercedes staying on the back again for another lap behind Sonic. Going back over to the leftover battle here as well, who's trying to still battle with C. Davis. Is looking very hard around the outside of turn one if he can, and here comes the Renault trying to hold it around the outside, and he's on the hard tyre as well. This will be a bold move if he can make it stick. He's going to try his hardest to stay on the inside of turn two, and he's going off the track. He didn't need to cut the corner. Leftover left enough space there, and I think C. Davis just didn't have the bravery to hold it up on the inside. He had the right to do so.
Unfortunately not there, no. Yeah, the battles are really, really happening. Is now 5 second, nearly 6 second gap up front there. Derby really just cruising out in front.
Yeah, approaching 6 seconds for Derby now, doing a good job here, continuing on his run at the moment. 50 points in versus 45 to his next rival at the moment in the standings, which is just so happens to be PWR DeLorean, who are on board with again, as Sonic loses the rear, and he's having some sneaking suspicions here. He's struggling, but he's mounted the curb, and that's going to lose him some time, and I think he's now actually cost himself a potential overtaking opportunity heading into that hairpin.
Yeah, he's not going to use overtake down here, either driver actually, because Sonic doesn't have that much ERS. And DeLorean will be wanting to use the DRS to potentially save some of that ERS.
They're pushing hard at the moment here for that battle for P2 at the moment. This is a big amount of points here as Derby just crossed the line to start the 10th lap of 28 here at the SynergyPWR People's World Racing Race here at the Chinese Grand Prix. And the Mercedes makes an early move already and darts to the inside. DeLorean now up to P2, and he's trying to battle hard here to try and get as many points as he can and try and do some damage limitation, if not try and close down that gap of 6 seconds to Derby, his championship rival.
Watching the PWR Clap and CT5 players. Oh, his Clap's gone a bit wide then. He nearly actually lost the car there.
He's going to keep going here. He's heading into turn one now. This is for P10 at the moment, and Clap really could do with some points here as he goes around the outside of turn one, tries to hold off if he can. Not a bad effort indeed here from the Alpha Tauri, looking to try and hold on. I think he's probably got that move stuck.
Yeah, Sufjan, the other Williams of Wipeout, also on PWR Clap's teammate there of Paul Davey. Wipeout on another set of soft tyres, I believe.
Either way, he's really struggling at the moment with dirty air heading through that corner. You can see it as he just loses all that time there. Wipeout's still holding on here at around P9 at the moment, trying to gain as much time as he can. And as you're saying there, Sufjan and Hamster getting into a little bit of a scrap as well themselves here for P4, P5. And Sufjan's going to have all of that ERS. Look at that juicy amount of ERS alongside with DRS here as it just opens now. And I have a sneaking suspicion Hamster's not going to be able to do a lot here to defend it. And Sufjan now up to 4th. He's down 1 position from where he started. But it's a great recovery so far from this Ferrari.
A Wipeout now on Paul Davey. Wipeout will get this move done, hopefully now down the inside there.
I'm not so sure. Could be a late break in here to try and defend this one. He goes around the outside on the hard tyre, does the Alpha Tower. He's got space to try and hold off if he can. But the soft tyres are just looking so much more grippier than the hards naturally. And Wipeout up to 8th. I see Davis has crashed into the back of leftover, and it looks to me as if leftover has just crashed into the back of C. Davis, who made a move upon the inside. It was a cracking little move as well, but he's just put it into the rear, has left over. Remember, simulation damage here at SynergyPWR, so the drivers have got to be very careful about how they approach their races. And right now, Leftover has possibly cost himself some really, really good time here. Could be an opportunity to move on to the hards fairly soon, but he's going to have to do an early stop.
He will have to, unfortunately, do an early stop there, but you can see the gap there between DeLorean and Sonic. Yes, it's grown, but it's not grown by what you would have expected it to from seeing DeLorean on the back of Sonic.
Yeah, surprised as well. He hasn't started to pull away a little bit as DeLorean. Remember, he hasn't got limited DRS at the moment as Sonic, and he's starting really to struggle now with the dirty air and now losing that second. He will have the DRS available, but he's back in overtake again, and he's using it all as he can. And the DRS actually not enabled for the racing points, and now he's going to start to struggle here to try and stay on the back of DeLorean and may fall into the clutches of Sufjan in that Ferrari, and he'll be back where he started nearly half a race ago.
You can see now the Slick Willy and Todd Larvin getting into a bit of a battle there with Peter Nub just coming up to the back of it now as well.
Bit of a battle potentially, yeah. As you were saying, Larvin getting really close here with Slick Willy. Potential overtake opportunity happening here for the Racing Point as he tries to make an early move on the Haas. We're going down the main straight on that hard tyre as well. Is Larvin, remember, he pitted fairly early because of that wing damage he had, and he goes around the outside, cutting the corner completely. Is the Haas driver. I think he was just a little bit of afraid of any kind of collision. And 12th place now for Larvin, and it will be 11th if Leftover has pitted for the brand new front wing, and it is a hard tyre. And there goes CT5 Plus for 10th and Larvin for 11th.
Look for the top runners to go in at around lap 14, I'd imagine.
Ooh, we've got the Alpha Towers battling here, and Peter Clapp making an overtake on Paul Davey at the hairpin.
That might have been an orchestrated move there because Clapp is on those fresher medium tyres and wants to attack the drivers in front, being Wipeout and C. Davies.
Strategy time now. Obviously, we're starting to see the gaps now really starting to stretch out here, apart from the obvious places. And as you see there, people on the medium tyre who started on the medium tyre now coming towards the end of their life. C. Davies started on the hard, so he's going to be even stretching his first stint out even further. Wipeout, actually, the first driver out of those who have pitted so far. But he is on that soft tyre, and he's started to lose buckets of time here to PWR Clapp. Oh, he's just lost the rear just a little bit as well coming out of that corner. He's caught it back up, though, but he is gaining rapidly on Wipeout.
Yeah, those medium tyres, this might be the crossover point there between the soft and the medium tyres here. It's Hamster pits.
Hamster is pitting now to get off that medium tyre. He's going to be the first of the up-fronters that started on that medium tyre to move on to the hard, as Wipeout now crosses the line, and he'll be now up in P6, Clapp now in P7. But you can see the gap really sort of actually hovering at the moment at around 2 seconds. But I should expect that sort of to collapse throughout the next few corners, because of course the amount of grip that soft tyre is going to be immeasurably less compared to that medium tyre right now.
Yeah, there's Sufjan actually catching PWR Sonic. I do believe the top 4 may be pitting this lap.
Going to be fairly important here that Sufjan does actually get past the Racing Point, because of course he doesn't want to be held up by him in the pits. So I think it'd be ideal if he could just get out in front of him, get the pit done, and that's it, done and dusted. But
he's had a really good exit to Sufjan.
And he has had a decent exit, and he's going to have a decent exit here as well. Again, Sonic not really able to hold off a good sort of turning ratio, if you will, through that corner. DRS now open for the Ferrari and in overtake as well, and he's got plenty of DRS to available to go here. Goes on the inside to make the move at the hairpin. He's now up to where he started, and he tries to defend as much as he can, Sonic. As I said, he'll want to try and defend this as much as he can, because he doesn't want to get caught up by Sufjan in the Ferrari. And it's going to make it work, and they're staying out.
Actually staying out. They're all actually staying out.
Well, one person who isn't is the Mercedes of PWR DeLorean. He's in, and I suspect that is going to be the call for the McLaren, the Racing Point, and the Ferrari to pit at the end of this lap. But Sonic and Sufjan...
We have a battle there happening between Todd Larvin and CT5 Plaz. Larvin actually overtook Plaz there and actually managed to gain some DRS there, so Todd now up to P10. There's Wipeout pits now as well.
PWR Hamster, P9, medium strategy, one stop now open. starting on lap number 14. And the drivers really should be considering this strategy, I think. And I'm sure that they will be considering it fairly soon. This is on board with PWR Hamster at the moment as he comes through the first sector. And at the moment, the McLaren actually doing a really decent job. He's just started on that hard tyre. Now he's going to the end of this race. How much time can he gain on the likes of the Sufjan, Sonic and Derby, who are all on those very aged medium tyres?
He may gain enough time there, but you can see now Hamster just coming through turn 7. The top 3 now just going through turn 11 and 12 now. So look for Sufjan is actually going to try and make an overtake. He's closer than he was on the last lap.
Surely he's going to try and make the overtake as he goes up on the inside there. And the Ferrari looking to
Sonic
try and make a more cleaner move here. Sonic tries to defend this. He's going to really want to try and defend it. Switch back maybe for the racing point. He's going to want to try and hold on. And Sufjan lost it. And that is really going to help Sonic there quite massively because he's not going to get caught up in the pits. And they're still not pitting. Oh, these two. And PWR Derby has pitted. So he's now pitting now for a hard tyre to the end of this race. He suspects. It's going to be interesting to see where he comes out of in the likes in front of DeLorean here, who's going to be on that better tyre. But I have a sneaky suspicion 6 seconds is going to be more than enough for Derby to stay out in front of DeLorean as he comes across now. And PWR Clap on the aging medium tyre rather, actually separating him and DeLorean at the moment by around about 7 and a bit seconds, which suggests to me, actually, if anything, Derby's actually really gained more time on DeLorean in the pits alone.
Yeah, he has. He's gained quite a bit of time because DeLorean has had to go through some traffic and he's been held up a bit there, so it's really helped Derby. C. Davies might just let the position go because he's on 14 lap old hards. Derby is on the fresh hard, and I don't think he's going to want a battle here. Because the top 2 need to pit now to have any chance of securing their positions.
Well, remember, here's PWR Derby on board with him at the moment as he battles with C. Davis. Now, remember, C. Davis still needs to pit. He did start on that hard tyre, so I'm expecting that these two aren't going to be battling, though it is entirely up to C. Davis if he wants to give up the position.
C. Davis is using his overtake, though.
And I think he is trying to defend this as much as he can.
Derby
here.
was not using his overtake.
So he's certainly playing a better game here, mind game-wise, as Derby. He knows that he's going to be a faster driver than C. Davis. All he needs to do is just stay on the back of him as they go around that final corner. C. Davis does not pit. He can stay out as much as he wants. Here comes Sonic and Sufjan also in the pits now. And PWR Derby seriously getting in the mix here. But C. Davis is now in the lead of this race. But remember, as I said, he still needs to pit. He's really stretching out that hard stint to probably around about lap number 20-ish, I suspect.
Yeah, you can. I believe you can do around 21 odd laps on these hard tyres, but look to him to pit at around lap 19 or 20.
C. Davis really could not be making a bad call here to really defending this position off Derby, because remember, he has to pit and he's going to be losing around about 23 seconds in the pits here. That will put him down as far as P10. And if he carries on battling and loses too much time, he could end up behind KJS Leftover and he'll be out of the points. Though remember, he will be on that faster medium tyre. He still means he's going to have to battle, and there's always chance for a mistake. We'll have to see. Either way, the McLaren, look at that on the onboard shot as well, fantastic shot. He is really looking powerful here in Synergy PWR Season 4. Certainly a Division 1 driver next season as it stands.
Yeah, definitely. Derby does have the pace to be in Division 1. He's really shown it. He's using overtake now is Derby to get past C. Davies. Hamster on PWR Sonic.
Looks to me as if that move has been done and dusted. Here comes the other McLaren, wanted to make another overtake on another car, and that is the Racing Point. Going to be a hard overtake here from the Hamster. He's very conservative when it comes to overtakes. Will he be conservative here? He might be slightly on the brakes, but Sonic looks like he didn't want to, so he felt like Sonic was going to cut him up, and I think if he got himself alongside, Sonic wouldn't need to really cut him up, and he stays in P7 again. That really conservative drive from Hamster, but he really should be making an overtake.
Wipeout going down the inside of Leftover.
He cuts the corner in order to actually complete this potential overtake, and Wipeout really can't hold that position.
Almost made it stick, as Nub is also up on CT5 players.
Yes, good effort here from the Williams driver. Wipeout trying to close down the gap on KJS leftover. Remember, he's on that medium tyre. And looking to try and really benefit here as he tries his hardest to go maybe around the outside. Possibly dive to the inside to go around the outside of 4. I'm not so sure if Wipeout is going to be able to get any kind of traction here on leftover. Leftover really, really careful on that power. But a better traction actually, yeah, from the Williams. But not enough to maybe look for an overtake. Could he maybe make a dive going into the hairpin? He might be looking for it. He doesn't go for it though.
Thought about it. He did think about it there. Hamster though, also still on the back there of PWR Sonic.
Yeah, the McLaren looking very strong, but he really needs to make an overtake on Sonic soon if he really wants to push here, because remember, he's on that 3-lap old hard tyre now. They're nice and warm, and it'd be a real good opportunity to try and get some more points, but I think that slightly conservative approach heading into the corner that he's just about to head into now, this hairpin, may be costing him a bucket of time here. And look at that, it's just not enough time or space to maybe look for the overtake.
Unfortunately not. Those Wipeout now on KGS leftover has had a better run coming out of turn 12 now.
Clap still on that
Turn
medium
13
tyre,
rather.
by the way, and they're now 10 laps old.
There we go, and he's made the overtake. Oh, and his KGS leftover, really good on the brakes, but got wide unfortunately there at turn 14, now heading through to the final corner.
Wasn't going to work for leftover, doing that late braking manoeuvre. It wasn't going to work as a Danny Ricciardo late brake.
Hamster though,
Hamster looking around the outside of potential Sonic here, and it looks like they're very much working the hardest here, are these drivers, and the gap now 0.3 of a second separating here. Could go for the late break here, going into the hairpin again. Hamster being conservative.
Oh, we got on the curb there.
And I love Hamster to bits, but as a racing driver, it is deeply infuriating watching it on board. So I'm going to go off board in the hope it doesn't look as good, look as bad. Sorry, but Hamster at the moment really, really more conservative in his approach in racing, very Jensen Button-esque. But he really, really could do with making some moves soon. Otherwise, he's going to be costing himself a bucket of time to those in the top 5.
PWR Clap looks like he's trying to go to the end on these medium tyres.
I was about to suggest that. Could it be possible that Clap is going to try and go to the end of this medium tyre? I really don't think it's a good idea.
I don't think so either. I think he needs to pit now for a new set.
Another set of medium tyres or maybe a soft?
I'd go medium because the soft I don't think will last to the end. I think it'll fall off with about a lap and a half to go.
Sofian just about to breach the DRS territory of PWR DeLorean as Wipeout has crashed.
Lost it.
Wipeout has crashed.
Car.
And the full, then it's a VSC. It's a VSC that's come out, not a full safety car. It's a VSC has arrived out on track. He's lost it coming out of the corner onto the main straight.
Yeah, he might have just got a bit of a swapper on
board with
Larvin.
Plaz. And you'll see there's the corpse of the Williams on the left-hand side, and that to me looks like a car that had a tank slapper.
Yeah, it does look like a car that's had a bit of a tank slapper, but Todd Larvin and Slick Willy actually pitting under the VSC.
Well, unfortunately, Larvin and Slick Willy actually pitting under the VSC. If you remember, the VSC does introduce, unfortunately, a rule in SynergyPWR that actually sees the pit lane closed. And unfortunately, in that circumstance, will actually give them a 10-second penalty.
That's really unfortunate for those two. Might have been just a lack of communication between those two. As we go green again.
Well, they go green again, and these drivers having to face penalties here as they go further and further into this race. Soft tyres for Larvin, but it does will have to face a penalty and a potential another pit stop as well, because those tyres will not go to the end without a puncture, no doubt about it, surely. PWR Clap will hold his position in P3 at the moment, and that will slightly help him, I suspect.
Oh, Sufyan going for a move now on DeLorean.
Very, very early potential move here for Sufyan as he goes down the straight here. Look how fast that Ferrari power unit is. Never thought I'd say that this season as he goes down that main straight into 4th place.
Does, yes.
12 points now on
Maybe a bit of a switch there, back there from DeLorean, but just too far back.
12 points
DeLorean.
now on the Ferraris back here, which would be very helpful indeed, as C. Davis is actually pitting now to get off these hard tyres, and he is now going to the end of this race, you suspect. Sufyan now onto the podium, Clap into 2nd place. And remember, he's on that medium tyre. Can he go to the end on it? I don't think he can. But what's there to say that he's been conservative throughout this entire stint?
Which is interesting.
So he's choosing to pit as well.
Davey finally pitting, so Davey will be going on to I believe, a soft tyre now to the end of the race.
It's unfortunate 10-second penalties being added to TOTD, Larvin and Slick Willy, though they were having decent races, and I think they just missed out on that sort of ruling. Remember, of course, you can't pit under the virtual safety car for reasons of the glitch that is unfortunately sufficient within the game. We spotted in our testing phase a lot of people being blocked from entering the pit lane. Oh, it goes wide as PWR Clap is really struggling.
Does. C. Davies down the inside of Kier's leftover at turn 6 there, but look how much time third and fourth have gained on PWR Clap in just a lap.
These tyres are far, far, far away from their best at the moment, unfortunately, for PWR Clap, and it looks to me as if Sufjan is really, really going to be starting to push here for a potential
Clap
overtake.
is defending, though.
As he goes down that main straight, and that Ferrari power unit powering him down there as well. Looks to me as if DeLorean wants to try and get in this mix as well as if he can. Just a little bit too far back, but it looks to me as if Clap isn't really much a sitting duck at the moment. He's
Clap
just a moving chicane, and he is pitting.
He is pitting. He was never going to make it to the end. He'll go into a soft tyre now to the end of the race. I think that's what he was doing. He was extending the stick so he could use the soft to the end of the race.
Giles95 commenting, good evening to yourself. So asking the question, has Larvin got a penalty? Yes, he does. He has a 10-second penalty to be added on at the end of this race. So as you see the results when they appear, they will be provisional, but he will have a 10-second penalty added on, and that is because he pitted under the virtual safety car, and due to a repetitive glitch that we saw in testing as well as reported on this Codemasters forums, where people pitting under the VSC were locked into their grid spot and the team were refusing to work on the car. The drivers voted to close down the pit lane during the VSC. If you enter the pits under the VSC, and Sufjan's lost it! Going through the corner! And he's out!
He's put it in the wall. That could be a safety car.
We'll have to see anyway as we go into the here, and it's not. It's a VSC. As Slick Willy gets an immediate speeding under the VSC penalty, which I think is really odd. But the VSC glitch, just yes, Adam Weird actually come popping back and saying thanks to the Modo waiter. The drivers, he cannot go into their pit lane. I'll say he or she can't go into the pit lane because as it stands at the moment, there may be a glitch on the system which basically locks drivers in the pit lane. The driver, all the pit crew are there, ready and waiting, and then they drop all the tyre guns, and that's it. They just walk away from the car, and they go inside. So with the drivers all voted pretty close to unanimous. Oh, you'll get it. to close the pit lane. And if you go in there when it's closed, it's a 10-second penalty, and that's unfortunately what Larvin will have to face up to alongside Slick Willy, which is a real shame because he's looking fast on those soft tyres as we go green again here on lap number 22 of 28 at the Chinese Grand Prix, and here we see Derby.
So Larvin up on PWR Hamster though around the outside, really trying to defend that position.
But he's holding around the outside here as PWR Hamster, and he'll have the inside of the next corner. He's going to make it stick. Yes, boy, he's made it work. And Larvin trying to defend as much as he can. Remember, he has that 10-second penalty to add on at the moment as Larvin. I'm sure that will not be the news he wants to hear, but he's going to try and make a move anyway on PWR Hamster, maybe around the outside, but it's locked off by Hamster. Very well defended. Very conservative driver as well. He goes around the outside. Remember, Hamster on the hard tyre, Larvin on the soft.
There you can see now also the two drivers in 4th and 5th, C. Davies and PWR Clap, also locked in a bit of a battle here.
Looking mighty fast is Larvin on that soft tyre. It's a real shame about his current situation. Clap on the soft tyre as well. Trying to get close to C. Davies here for P4, and he's on the soft tyre as well. You suspect that 11-second gap is really, really going to slice through quickly. Going wide is PWR Clap.
He might have just got on the curb. Oh, he's gone a bit wide there. He does have DRS though it does Clap, and he's had a relatively decent exit of 13 now down the long straight. DRS now open. Both drivers looking to use their overtake.
Trying to push as much as he can.
More ERS.
Clap looking, doesn't go for the move straight away. He's got time. He's got plenty of time.
Larvin on Hamster though, and he does actually make the move stick now, does Larvin.
Larvin now up to P7 on that soft tyre, remember. Two soft tyre runners here as well, as they start their 23rd of 28 laps here tonight at the Chinese Grand Prix. And PWR Clap
Clap
still
sets
looking
off,
mighty
slipping
quick
looks
as he
at
goes
it,
up on the
trying to go down the
inside. The
inside.
gap is there. He left it open. Davis will be really, really annoyed with himself for that one because that was a really, really, really big gap. He didn't need to leave. And I think C. Davis knows that. He's going to try and defend hard if he can, but he's going to be on the right side of the track, and they're still side by side going into the corner. C. Davis has the traction. Late braking maybe from Clap. Davis has gone wide, and that's going to cost him time. Will Clap be able to make a benefit from that? He loses the rear a little bit, but he might go around the outside of 7, and he can't. And C. Davis is braking. What's he doing braking through there? It's not a corner you're meant to brake on. That sort of calls Clap to just sort of get off the gas and lose a bit of time here. And I think Clap will not be happy with that one, but he might make the move here going into the corner, but he's going to have the DRS detection point as Davis really slices him up.
Yeah, Clap really had to get on the brakes there at 7 because he's got such good traction from going wide that he would have collided had he not braked.
Well, DRS now open for PWR Clap as he now tries to get closer and closer and closer and closer. Davis can't defend off this one. Makes the move stick. Will it be a late braking from C. Davis to try and defend this one? Switch back around the corner, but it's really, really poorly executed. And PWR Clap making that move will make it look very easy, actually. It's 0.6 of a second. Clap now up to 4th. And remember,
also gaining.
Remember, they were 11 seconds on the behind on the previous lap. Now Clap is 8.
Yeah, those tyres really last. You've got 4 laps to make up 8 seconds. There's Larvin and KJ's left over now battle down the main straight. There's Larvin now going around the outside of turn 1, switching now down to the inside there, turn up through turn 2 now, dropping down through to turn 3. And he's actually made that move stick as Larvin. Great move. He's gained 2 seconds as Clap in the first couple of corners.
Great comments coming in here, though, from the rest of the field. Thank you very much. HB Suppressor saying it's a good shout as well. Larvin getting a penalty from Giles. Yeah, really sorry to sort of be bringing that one in. Surely it will be a penalty from the stewards. Of course, they adjudicate all of the penalties, not us as commentators. Here comes Clap, though, really, really, really looking strong now. 6 and a bit seconds. He's really, really munching through this gap here. Could he be on for a podium?
He could, yes, be on for a podium. He's gained the best part of 1.5 seconds in 3/4 of a lap.
Yeah, indeed, very good stuff at the moment. Here comes Sonic now going into the hairpin. He's got a bit of a gap. He's in a bit of no man's land at the moment. And it looks to me if Sonic is really, really going to have to try and push hard as he can here, because it looks to me as if Sonic is really, really in a sitting duck position here. Potentially.
Yeah,
anyway.
he is. He's in a bit of a dull situation here as he's using his overtake to try and maintain the gap. But at the same time, he's losing time in the corners because those hard tyres are not giving him the grip that he needs, and the softs on Clap, they really are helping him while they've got around about the same RS. As you can see, Sonic using his overtake to really punch him out of the corner to maintain some sort of a gap. Gap now down to 5 seconds.
Good effort here so far from these drivers. 25
from KJ's left over that may be getting into a battle. You can see the gap now just dipped below the 1 second mark, which means Hamster will have DRS when it comes round to getting to the detection point.
At 25-28, C. Davis still holding on to the back of Clap, but he is out of that DRS territory as he goes through the corner now, and the Renault driver looking very much as if he's going to not be able to try and hold off PWR Clap here. They're going to look at the Sonic, though, at the situation. Gap now 4.6 as they'll be starting their 26th lap. It's going to be desperately close here.
It's going to be really, really close. As watching now the battle between KJ Leftover and Hamster.
Yeah, really, really close stuff here as PWR
13.
Sonic going through the corner here at the hairpin again, where he cuts it again, and he's really, really hard here on his tyres. He's going to have to be.
Hamster's going to make an overtake here by the looks of things.
PWR Hamster in the McLaren. Looking like he's going to get close to the Alfa Romeo of KGS Leftover, making a long sweeping with the Renault power unit. Late braking from Leftover. Sliced him up a little bit, but I think he just had the space to do so. He's been absolutely fantastic on those brakes.
Yeah, KJ's Leftover really, really good on the brakes. The gap now dipped there, 3.8 seconds with 2 laps to go.
going to be desperately close to that podium. It's going to be really, really close to that podium. It's going to be one hell of a battle, this one. Clapp gets on the podium. It's going to be all euphoria for a lot of drivers here. And I think one person will be kicking himself will be C. Davis because he knows he's got the pace. But unfortunately, it's just PWR Clapp. Looks to me as if he is the faster driver tonight.
Yeah, Clapp looks to be sort of in a class of one or a class of one at the moment. As the gap now, 3.4 seconds. So he's really, really gaining massive amounts of time. There's Hamster now half a second behind KGS leftover going through turn 7.
Really good effort from these drivers here. As PWR Clapp, 3 seconds now. Still got to find 1.5 seconds basically per lap. He's still finding that at the moment, but he's got to be also be very wary about his tyre wear because these tyres will be now starting to fall off the best here. The question is, will they still be fast enough compared to those 10 lap old hards as they come across the line? It's going to be very interesting on that front. By the way, PWR Derby, not actually heard anything from him so far. Let's have a quick shot of him. Cool. PWR Sonic in P3 at the moment, doing a really good job.
Now 3/10 behind. He may make the move stick this time.
Now, PWR Derby doing a really good job at the moment, in fairness to him here. 10.5 seconds actually in front of anyone else at the moment. And that McLaren doing a really, really good job as his teammate making a move again on KGS leftover. And again, late braking really potentially, but cutting that corner maybe just a little bit. And Hamster trying his hardest here to defend, and the McLaren still can't get past KGS leftover.
He's really, really trying, but he is running out of ERS now.
Oh, he might make a move here, though. It's a really, really good exit here. Really, really good exit from the McLaren, and the Alfa Romeo may not have nothing to hide here to try and defend this one. Late breaks into turn 1. He is defending hard here, is the Alfa Romeo. I've never seen such a valiant effort to hold on for P7 before in my life. And they touch going through turn 3, and I'm sure they're both going to be very equal on the power, but Hamster lets go. He shouldn't need to.
Just let go there because I think he might have got on the curb there and it would have hampered his track. The gap now 1.5 seconds out front.
Did say needs to find about 1.5 seconds towards the front, by the way. Gap now 1.5 seconds, and he's not even finished the lap yet. Looks to me as if Clapp is going to be on his way here, but he's going to have to make that move at the infamous hairpin, where we've seen a lot of overtakes be made. One infamously, of course, by Jenson Button in the Honda. And it's going to make for a very interesting scenario for PWR Clapp. Can he get that third place?
Oh, leftover got on the grass a bit there. It's an inviting Hamster now.
Let's battle for P7, P8 here, and leftover really starting to feel the pressure here. And he's going to have the DRS open, defending very early upon the inside. Is he going to go to the outside? Who's going to hold on to the inside? He is going to go around the outside. Late braking from Hamster. Looks to me as if he's going to try and hold on. He's going to break a bit too late, but so has leftover. And it looks to me as they're going to be going side by side into the final corner. He's going to hold on around the inside. And they're still side by side going into the corner. Going off the track is the Alfa Romeo. And I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I don't know who got the DRS. I think it was actually the Alfa Romeo who got the DRS in the end. And he then holds on onto the final lap of this race. Clapp, 6/10. It's going to be a last lap overtake, I think, at one of the penultimate corners, probably the hairpin. And he's holding his own here as Sonic, and he knows he's got on here for this potential podium. But Clapp is breathing down his neck on these fresh, soft tyres. He made that pit stop work.
He has made that pit stop work. The gap now 3/10 now as we go through down into turn 11 now. It's
a really, really good effort from these drivers, I must admit, going through the corner. And Nub and Paul Davey. Nub now in the points in 9th place as well. Good effort from him after an appalling start. Here comes the PWR Clapp here trying to... Oh, he's lost the rear! He's lost the rear! That's going to cost him some time. We'll go back on board with PWR Derby, though, as he's just about to win another race here at SynergyPWR People's World Racing. It's 3 for PWR Derby and 75 points for him at the moment as we go back to this battle in for P4. And Clapp knows he has cost himself a podium with that simple mistake. And he's cost himself as DeLorean comes second. Sonic is going to be coming around that final corner. He's going to be a lot faster as PWR Clapp, but it will be PWR Sonic who comes across the line to take P3, and Clapp will be kicking himself.
Yeah, Clapp was really unfortunate. He got on the power a little bit too early. It was Hamster. Got a good exit now there out of turn 14.
TOTD Larvin will finish in P6. Not enough, though. And he'll finish in P6 with leftover in P7. It's Hamster in the end in P8. Nob will come across the line in P9. And then Paul Davey has a puncture on 7 lap-old softs. He has a puncture. That shows you the issue with these tyres and the degradation.
It does, yes, unfortunately.
Very quick as well.
The line.
He's dealing with that very quickly as well, in fairness to Paul, as he comes across the line in P10 with Slick in P11 in the end. It looks to me as if the 10-second penalty that Marvin will receive, or probably will receive from the stewards, will still keep him in the points, but he will lose a bucket of positions for pitting under the VSC. However, we have one hell of a finish of a race to that one. Clapp will be disappointed.
Clapp does get driver of the day, though, to consolidate his efforts.
Yeah, disappointing stuff there. C. Davis actually popping in saying he got damage off Clapp, actually, surprisingly enough. But either way, Derby 3 wins out of 4 for the McLaren driver. He's on form at the moment. He needed a bit of form. That's all he needed to get himself up there. And 75 points for him now, 25 for this race. Interesting race indeed, though. We'll take a look at those final standings in a second, as we appreciate as well some other standings with PWR. PWR. I call him Infamous, Wills, whatever you want to call him. It's PWR DeLorean now, finishing in P2, and he's in P2 in the standings, so it's a good damage limitation race for the Mercedes. Take a look, though, at those final standings. You can see there it's Derby leading the way in pole, with DeLorean in second, Sonic in third, and Clapp with fastest lap of the race in fourth. He'll be disappointed with, I think, P4. He started in P15. He knew he could have got that podium. C. Davis in fifth in the end. He finishes with a good performance from P14 himself, actually. Larvin up 2 in eighth, though he will have a 10-second penalty added on from the stewards for pitting under the VSC, with KGS left over in 7th, Hamster in 8th, Nubb in 9th, Paul Davey will be in 10th, with Slick Willie in 11th, Palaz in 12th, and then the drivers DNFing out of nowhere, Suffian losing the control of the car under his own accord in 13th, with Wipeout out, Rustable Eel also out, and Richie Evans out before we even got going. SynergyPWR returns again for the next Chinese Grand Prix tomorrow night for this Division 1 race. We're going to be in for one interesting race if Division 2 has any influence upon it. But we'll be leading our way through to the Netherlands for the Dutch Grand Prix next week. So if you can't be tuned in tomorrow, we look forward to seeing you next week. But for myself and the rest of the team here at SynergyPWR People's World Racing, thank you for watching, and bye-bye for now.